What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unfiltered. Thank you guys for joining. Much appreciation to all of you tuning in. Today's episode, we're basically going to be talking about scaling your service-based business. We're in the facilities, janitorial, commercial cleaning business. And today we're going to talk about a little bit of strategies. So let's tag on. All right, guys. So first things foremost, let's get this out the way. Like, subscribe, share. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. I'm giving you guys value for free. I don't want nothing in return, but maybe a like or a subscribe. Thank you guys so much. It's so appreciated. So today's episode, we're basically going to be talking about scaling your service-based business, what no one tells you about it, right? So from my experience, what we've done, the reality of scaling our cleaning business has been mainly through organic and Google paid ads. And we've spent a significant amount in the past on Google ads, not so much in the recent years because we've been able to kind of scale organically through SEO and all of the local citations and all that stuff that it comes with. However, there's many different strategies, right? Some people will come in and say, hey, hand out flyers, which is great. Handwritten letters, I've done that in the past. Really good. If you want to get engagement through a cold audience, handwritten letters will get it done. Also here, we'll talk a little bit about hiring and managing employees. Obviously, growing, scaling your business, and you got to hire people. And then also systems and processes that we use to make scale possible. And then also just mistakes to avoid as you're growing through your service-based business, the mistakes that we made, and we want you not to make them. So tune in. All right, so let's talk about the reality of scaling. So just over the so we started our company back in 2012. It took us about 2 years to get our first client. As you know, in the previous episode, I kind of just discussed a lot of that stuff. So since then, 2016, I believe we were able to scale to, I think, about somewhere around 20,000 a month, somewhere in there. Don't quote me. But we were able to get to $20,000 a month. Then we got stuck. It's hard to break through that seal. One, you can still keep getting new clients, but then two, you can lose clients, right? So just figuring out the operations and the workflows and everything that goes into that to be able to keep your clients while also scaling was very difficult for us. So we kind of we're stuck in that $20,000 a month range. Then after 2017, a little bit of my backstory, started doing a lot more marketing, SEO, understanding just what it takes to actually build a business through marketing, and started just implementing those techniques, most of which were revamping our website. SEO was number one, and then doing a lot of local citations. For those that don't know, it's just, I just say yellow pages. Yellow pages, you sign up for a free listing. So there's a million different listings that you can do. So doing that helped a lot locally because our Google Maps picked up on that, and a lot of clients were able to find us right locally. So cleaning companies near me or cleaning services around whatever state you're in, that was a huge help. That's been our claim to fame there. Since then, we've added a lot of different strategies. We've added a lot of different things, but we're doing a few $1 million now. So it's a little bit different. You got the cash flow and so on and so forth. But where you are, we were stuck at 20,000. Then we got stuck, I think, at 40,000. Then at 40,000, which I think was around 2018, 2017, somewhere in there. Or no, we were 2018, I think it was. We started getting the same thing we did at 20,000. So it's we had a different problem then. Now in 2018, we had a different problem. But that took some time for our marketing efforts and everything to take into place and kind of settle. That takes a few years. So we knew where we were going. It was just kind of being patient and going with that flow. Once our SEO efforts, Google Ads efforts started to kind of pick up, we had a consistent lead base. So even though we were stuck at 40, because we went from 20 being stuck to 40 being stuck, we were able to set up our systems and our processes, and our systems and our processes were able to keep our clients. So even though new clients or new leads weren't coming in as steady as we had in the past, we were able to keep our clients. And that was the other big thing, where it's you want to keep what you have, even if nothing's coming in, you don't want to lose. So that was huge. That was very big. We got some systems and processes, which we'll dive into further in some of these other videos about those strategies and everything we did to be able to do that. That's been so impactful to basically keep. And then that during those months that no leads were coming in or people weren't, reaching out to us, we just kind of maintained and built our systems and our processes. And then over that time, more leads started coming in. We weren't losing as many clients. And now we're adding clients and that revenue starts to go up. So tips and tricks, we'll go over that on another video. Today, I want to also touch into hiring and managing employees. I'll give you just the quick synopsis of what we used to do back when we got started. Someone applied. I called them. Did they sound good enough to be an employee? I basically said, I'll meet you at the job tonight or tomorrow, whatever the job entailed. Disaster. I always said that I was pretty good at judging character, good people, which some of us could have that skill. And it worked. But, if you just go off feeling, as you scale, you're going to run into a lot of problems. It might work as you're, stuck at 10,000, 5,000, 20,000 a month. You probably just do that because it's a small team and you're able to manage it. But at scale, that's not going to work. That's what we used to do when we got started till about 20, 30, maybe $40,000 a month, wherever we were stuck at. Then we realized, okay, we need to be able to bring in good quality cleaners that are going to be with us long term. And for us, long term is more than a year. Some people have been with us for 5 years. I think I have 3 or 4 employees that have been with us for maybe 3 that have been with us for over 5 years. But generally, anything after a year is long enough for us to categorize as a long-term employee. That's good enough for us. 2 years is perfect. But so we set the system up to try and get them for a year. So what we would do is we'd post on Indeed, post on any online job softwares. And back in the day, I used to do Craigslist back in 2012, 2013, 2014. Well, it took us 2 years, so it was 2015 maybe. That tended to not bring in good employees, but it helped us with realizing, hey, if I can go and list something on Indeed or any of these monster.com, any of these platforms, well, guess what? I'm able to bring these people in, and they're a little bit more qualified because most of them probably had a CV, which was great. Because back in the day, you can get a cleaning job just making a phone call. So it made like an additional step. Hey, you have a resume? Okay, submit your resume. We'll look at your resume, see where you're qualified, see how much job experience you had in the cleaning space, and so on and so forth. And that was another thing as well, just to tap into that a little bit. If you had a lot of experience and many years in the cleaning industry, the one thing that was a red flag for us at the time was how long were you in those positions for? But since then, that's not the only thing. Back then, that was like a red flag where it's like you're just kind of going through cleaning companies. It means you're not a good employee. At least that's how we took it. But since then, we've looked at too much experience also gets you stuck in your way. And it also generates bad culture potentially. So you could be someone that's well-versed and really experienced in cleaning and actually have really good cleaning tendencies and can, follow directions and do all that stuff, but you may not be a good quality employee. And that's just behaviors, attitudes, the type of person you are. So then we started looking into, hey, we need to look at, is this going to be a good person to work with? So now we don't just hire because you have all this cleaning experience. Now we actually hire if you're going to be a good person, and then we train you to be a good cleaner. So that's changed over the years as well. Before, it's just you got a lot of experience, great, go and do your experience, and that's it. Which there's nothing wrong with that. As you build a team, you can perfect things. When you're by yourself, you really can't. So these are just things that you can kind of grow into, and that's what I'm getting at with this advice. The next one would be managing employees. So hiring and managing employees. So once they go into Indeed, Monster, or whatever platform we have, they would come in, do a phone interview with our office manager or a text message exchange saying if they're interested in the position that we have. Then we would go through a process of making a phone call interview with our operations manager. And then we do a second interview with myself and the operations manager, and basically vetted that person 3 times before they even come in. This has lowered churn like by a lot. I don't have a percentage for our company right now, but off the top of my head, it's been significant, because now when people are coming in, you have to dedicate so much to actually getting the job rather than just picking up the phone and saying, see you there later. So that's a big help. Now we have an HR rep. That person has an entire pool of candidates, so it's a whole different process now. I won't dive into that yet. Later episodes I will, because it's just going to be too confusing, and I don't think some of you guys may need that right now. But that process worked for us up until we did maybe 25 employees per, and once we had 25 employees, then it was all right, we got to change things up a little bit. But up until that, you should be very, very good. It vets out just the not so good employees, I guess I would say, or candidates. Managing those employees, once you have that process in place, managing them, it's very, very simple. We had a 90-day trial period. So in 90 days, we drilled them. You're late, you don't call it, you call out, you do any of those things, then now we know you're potentially not going to be a good candidate. And we start to begin the process of replacing you. Once you pass that 90 days and you didn't call out, you didn't come in late all the time, then we began the process of, okay, now this person can get sick times, vacation times, so on and so forth, different perks, maybe even increase their salary or pay, whatever you guys do, and, kind of build them up. So that's been the big thing for us. It's helped our operations manager manage the team. Some accounts will be headaches, especially if you have big teams, because everybody's going to call out sick. People are going to be, not showing up to work or quitting or so on and so forth. But those are isolated situations. I mean, generally in our account, there may be one account that is kind of a headache as far as employees and turn and all that stuff. But everything else is pretty smooth, and it's just based on the process of hiring. Has been great. So we bring in pretty good candidates. And even when somebody is moving on to a better job or anything like that, these people tend to give us 2 weeks or even a month in some cases, where it's like, hey, I'm going to be moving on. So, happy to train, happy to help, happy to do anything that you need. So that's been wonderful. So your hiring process is critical. System and processes that make scaling possible, it's so broad. What I would advise, if you're at $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month, stay consistent. If you're doing Google ads, if you're not paying for ads but doing organically, like I mentioned earlier, citations, blog posts on your blogs that have keywords. If you're in medical cleaning, janitorial cleaning, all of that stuff, that's huge, because that will get your business consistent over time. So there's 2 ways to scale. One is organic and the other one is money, marketing dollars behind it. And if you don't have marketing dollars behind it, then you have to go the organic route. That's door to door, cold calling, all of that good stuff. They all work, by the way. And I recommend doing all of them. If you don't have that marketing dollars to put behind your business, do them all, because they will help you. And maybe you don't have to do them all. Maybe you could do whatever works best for you and then just add things as time goes on and as your revenue grows. But whatever you can do, whether it's time, delivery, and there's many different strategies and companies that can help you with the deliverables on some of those direct mail pieces and stuff like that. But they're great, and they generally tend to give you business over time. So you're not looking at, I'm putting money into this now. It's a time, but you're not putting that much money into it. So you're looking for more time. So eventually they'll call you. And then you can follow up with phone calls and so on and so forth. So systems and processes, basically find what system works best for you, whether it's cold calling, direct mail, showing up to offices is huge. Just going to somebody's office and say, hey, we're a cleaning company and we would like to speak with the office manager or the facilities manager, or whoever it is in charge of that building. It's big. It used to be really, really big back then. Now there's many different strategies, but it's still effective and it's very cost effective. All it does is just takes time. So whichever one of those processes you're going to go with, just be consistent. You don't have to add them all. Just pick one and be consistent. Some of the mistakes to avoid when growing a service-based business, there's a lot of mistakes that you want to avoid. I would say one of the mistakes that you want to avoid is, I think it would be the hiring aspect of it. Because if you bring bad employees or bad candidates to your business, I cannot express how much of a headache you're going to have. Even at scale, it's even worse. But even in the beginning, just having a bad employee is going to make you lose business. It's going to rip your hair out when the client keeps calling you and complaining about whatever that employee's not doing, and so on and so forth. And for those of you that work weekends, that have weekend work, that will be a headache when you have bad employees. So that would be something that I would avoid. I would definitely do posting on Indeed, posting on Onster. I would definitely make a phone call. I would schedule an appointment for a day or two out. I wouldn't rush everything. I would make it as long as possible, make it a process so they're invested into your business, not just trying to get a job. Someone that calls you and just says, hey, I want to start working, I can work tonight. That person's going to leave you just as fast as you're hiring them. So that would be one of the biggest mistakes that I would definitely avoid in today's day and age, because even at this scale that we're at and where we're going, bad employees is just the worst problem we can. And then we have a lot of problems. That's by far our biggest annoyance and our biggest problem. That's a wrap for today's episode of Unfiltered with Daniel B. I hope today's discussion gave you some valuable takeaways for your own business journey. If you found this episode helpful, please share it, and don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast so you never miss an episode. Adios.